to keep on that in mind. On the other hand, we know the region continue to be more integrated. We have increasing share interest, so which we need. That's why we talk about the TPP and RCP. They make it complementary. For instance, TPP, excludes China, India, Indonesia. That's all emerging big economies. So RCP, they covered all this. So we encourage all different kind of efforts. So I think generally that is China's view, and I don't think you use the word forced and aggressive, against ASEAN. I don't think that's the case, and both sides from ASEAN disputed countries and China and from Japan and China, they now all sides we seem become stronger, but that is probably create opportunity for us to think what's a risk, what is the real danger, and how to manage this kind of difficult situation. Otherwise, the region will be in a very dangerous situation and also hurt all of our interests. So I think that is still some basic understanding and prepare for the good direction rather than bad one.
I see. And Professor Zhang, of course, we all hope that peace and stability will be the norm in Asia. But for China also, inclusive growth and development of the whole nation would be the key for peaceful rise of China. What is the benefit for China to engage and to be engaged by ASEAN countries?
If you see the trend after the China-ASEAN FTA, and both sides benefit and significantly. These two China and the ASEAN economy become highly integrated. So as I mentioned, this disputes only between China and a few countries. So it's not the overall ASEAN. ASEAN as a whole, the 10 countries, they still have basic interests and make a stable and cooperative relationship with China. That is also the same story on China side. So the all the programs we have agreed in the past and will continue, and also now the new initiative by ASEAN of RCP, and so China gave a very strong support on this effort. So I think disputes always exist, and actually even worse than in the past time. But now we are actually in a much better situation. So I think ASEAN, China, they still have a basic understanding how to manage their disputes. I think that's very, very important.
I see. Well, thank you, Professor Zhang. Dr. Solis, very, very briefly, last comment from you. Do you think that these frameworks, TPP and RCEP, can actually be complementary and coexist?
Well, I think that there are clear differences in terms of, who is invited, what is going to be the membership, and what are going to be the terms of integration. So in that sense, they may end up, producing very different types of free trade agreements. Now, I think that they're complementary in the sense, the way I like to think about this is as constructive competition. And I think that because they encourage different countries to move forward in the liberalization front, I think that there is a basic complementarity of purpose there. And I think that they help us move the agenda towards deeper integration. And at some point then, once these trade negotiations are completed, then we can think about, well, what would be the next step? How can we think about the ultimate goal of an FTAs, of an Asia-Pacific-wide integration platform? But I do think that we have to acknowledge that they do have different aims and goals in terms of the economic integration agenda. But, I think this is all a good development because they create an incentive for countries to do this, to sit down at the negotiation table.
Right. Well, thank you, Dr. Solis. And lastly, Professor Watanabe, for Japan, the Abe administration is having difficulties in creating a sort of a consensus, especially with the upper house election scheduled to be taking place this summer. Do you see it is as if Japan's own time is running out?
Yes, I think the time is really running out for Japan because Obama administration in second term pick up the trade issue as one of the most important priorities, and they are going to make best endeavor to wrap up this TPP negotiations maybe by the end of October this year. So I think the sooner the better. Japan should really somewhat hasten to join TPP negotiations.
I see, and there can be serious domestic implication, but it does seem as if Japan is being tested as to if it is prepared to come on board a wider framework of liberal trade. Would I be right in saying that?
Yes, certainly, you're right, yes.
I see, so that is a sort of a decision, but Abe government will have a difficult time convincing the various interest groups.
Particularly agricultural lobby, yes.
Because of the upper house election, which the LDP has won the lower house election, but it will be tested as to if they can also win the upper house election, and this will become one of the critical issues there.
Yeah, well, when it comes to the agriculture, I think we have to believe that Japanese agriculture has enormous potentials, and TPP might provide a better platform for Japanese agriculture to further develop.
Well, thank you very much all for joining us. Thank you. Well, there are a wide variety of thoughts and interests surrounding Asia-Pacific region FTAs, much of it focused on the US and China. Japan and the region are being closely watched as to what strategies they will adopt in answer to this new dynamism. But that's it for this edition of Asian Voices. We'll be discussing Japan's energy strategy next week. Thank you for watching.